And moments before one of the most anticipated fights of the night, Coach Guy Metzger ends up pulling Trey Telligman of the Dallas Dragons. He has a knee injury, so the UFC veteran is out. He injured that earlier tonight. He'll be replaced by Mike Sheppard. Underway, match 4 of 6. Dusty Miller, they call him Rhino for the Denver Destroyers in the red. Mike Sheppard in the blue for Dallas. Dallas needs Sheppard to stay in this fight and do some damage.
Well, Sheppard is known as Lightning Mike Sheppard. Very fast for a big man at 217. Dusty Miller, Rhino at 222 tonight.
Yeah, difference in experience. You've got 5-2-0 for Miller. And, of course, they're 14-6-1 for Sheppard. Sheppard with more experience, but, again, it's not enough to make that much of a difference.
No, and the experience that they've had has been in freestyle rules, Muay Thai, Oriental rules. This is a different type of fighting. This is 3 minutes. It's got to be all out. That will be called a slip, I believe, by referee Tony Weeks. And this kind of fighting, you've got to lay it all on the line in 3 minutes.
Once again, it's conditioning. The bigger boys, it takes a lot more. They've got a lot of weight to carry around. And as we know, using the legs just drains so much more energy. It builds up a lot more lactic acid. And once they throw a lot of leather with the legs, it takes it out of them.
Lightning coming on with some good punches. Rhino coming back with some of his own. Both fighters have taken a lot of punches to the face. You can see it. Their faces are red. Continuing to just go at each other.
And like I said, you know, because of the energy it takes to throw those kicks, you'll notice they get into a lot more hands during the second half of the match.
So Mike Sheppard there for the Dallas Dragons in the blue. Looks like he is just dying to unload the right and to make connection.
He's got to keep moving, though. You can be penalized for passivity if you're not continuing to fight. That doesn't mean a technique every second. It's just you can fight in spurts. It just means you have to be fighting and not trying to move around the ring and protect the lead. Absolutely.
If you sidestep, you got to throw. If you move back, you got to throw. If you move forward, you got to throw. It's all about constant activity. Otherwise, you do get penalized, and there's no warning for that.
No matter how many fights a fighter's had in other types of disciplines, when you fight in the World Combat League, you've got to be able to fight anaerobically hard for 3 straight minutes.
Boy, Miller and Sheppard just trading with each other here. Both a couple of warriors in there, and right now they're just hitting each other almost blow for blow.
Sheppard in the blue is a KO guy. He's got 13 KOs out of 15 pro fights. So, and I would venture to guess they probably all came fairly early on as he was unloading that right, but he just hasn't connected so far with Miller.
That was a nice right hand I just saw then from Sheppard, but again, both fighters just hanging in there. You notice also the hands start to drop. You know, obviously that's due to fatigue. You know, you're trained to keep those hands up, trained to check your jawline, because that's where you get knocked out. But when you get tired, it's easier to keep them down, but that's when it's most dangerous.
The crowd is loving what they're seeing here, under 30 seconds.
Both fighters non-stop. Sheppard the faster of the two, but neither fighter with much of a defense.
Dallas Dragons need something big from Mike Sheppard to get back in the game.
Sheppard feeling it now. He's a little wobbly in his legs there.
I don't think we could begin to count how many punches each of those fighters absorbed.
Good fight from the big men.
Well, if there was ever the definition of a slugfest, it was this match. Maybe the best punch of the fight for Lightning Sheppard, that uppercut. This flurry later in the round, he lands to the body, back up to the head, but not much defense from either guy.
It was a good fight. Dusty Miller puts up a great effort, but not enough. Mike Sheppard, 13 points on the night for the Dragons, stepping in for Telligman. Good night for him. Miller, 11. So 35 now to 57 for the Denver Destroyers. The gap is closing. When we come back to Las Vegas, the World Combat League welcomes the women to the combat zone. Here comes the critical point in the night for the Dallas Dragons. Mike Sheppard, they're fighting in blue for Dallas against Dusty the Rhino Miller for the Denver Destroyers in red. And Sheppard was the only fighter in the first half that had a win for Dallas.
On his is back already. Oh, that's it.
Doc Hamilton stopping the match, rightfully so, protect the athletes. But that's the end of it. Another big win for Dallas.
That is exactly what Dallas needed, both from a point standpoint and from a standpoint of firing up this team for the rest of this half with a chance to win this matchup between the Dragons and the Destroyers.
How about that for Mike Sheppard? He's the only fighter who won in the first half for Dallas, comes out within 10 seconds, throws the knockout to Dusty Miller.
Once again, this is where the coaches come in. You can see the motivation that Metzger's given his guys. He told me he had experienced punishers used to knocking guys out. He needed to prove it in the second half, and he's doing it.
Stunning knockdown. You see it from a different angle again. He just waits. Overhand, high on the head, and you usually don't see knockouts from hits so high on the head, but the way it's crunched his face down to the lower right, it just, and see how his body just goes numb.
And what a lot of people don't realize, a lot of damage is done with the head ricocheting and hitting the canvas. The head goes limp, it snaps back, and that doubles the impact and the damage done to the fighter.
Here you can see, there go the legs, they're rubber, and he is half unconscious before he ever hits the mat. Never fully lost consciousness, and he's up in the ring now. They've got him sitting. He looks like he's all right.
Look at Guy Metzger saying, that's what I asked you guys to do. Dusty Miller gets KO'd, and it's 15-0. Desperately needed points for the Dallas Dragons. A big win for Mike Sheppard.
That's a little easier on my lungs. I try to set it up. We call it my baseball punch, like I'm throwing a baseball. I go around their hands where they don't, it's out of their peripheral. It's worked a lot.